Today, I'd like to do a review on the APS Klasik 2020 that are behind me. I usually don't do reviews. This is probably the first and last review I'll ever do, but who knows. The reason I'm doing this is because when I was thinking about buying them, I couldn't find anything in English about them except for like a sound-on-sound review, but I didn't find anything on YouTube. There was some stuff in Polish, some stuff in Russian, but I couldn't really find anything in English, so I thought I might as well do one to help anybody else that is thinking about buying a pair of APS speakers. So before I begin, who am I? What gives me the right to criticize speakers? Well, I am a professional music producer and mixing engineer. I do this for a living. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I'm in a very, very good sounding room right now. So this room is 6.8 times 10 meters. It's almost 70 square meters. I've got a lot of distance from the back wall and the side walls, and also there is a giant diffuser on the back, like where I'm looking at. And I've got absorbers pretty much on the sides and on the ceiling also. So yeah, what should I compare them to? Well, I've had a lot of speakers, and if I'm going to go into all the monitors I've owned in my life, this is going to be a very, very long video. So I made a short list. Usually I do everything live. I don't do video edits and stuff like that. So in this case, I thought it's better if I make a little list about speakers that are relevant to be compared with these. In general, I would say that these speakers are very, very neutral. I was used to speakers that were a bit more forward sounding. So I was working with Neumann's, with PSI, with PMC speakers. Also, I had a pair of Tannoys that I love them. I'll go into the models in a little bit. And what I was used to is having monitors that have a little bit of like a boost around like 5K, something like this, 6K, that everything sounds a little bit more to the front. And these speakers don't have that. They're more neutral. They're more, they're very, very flat, but not in a boring way. Like they have this sort of depth that I really, really like. So I had to get used to that in the beginning, but honestly, they are fantastic for the price. So like, I got them for 900 euros from APS directly. This was one of the things that I wasn't sure if I should get them, because I wanted to get something from Neumann, because Neumann has guarantee and the shipping is very easy. But I don't know, I felt that if I wouldn't get them, I would probably end up spending a lot more on something that I wasn't sure would be that much better. And I'm very, very happy that I decided to get them. I got them directly from APS. They were very, very nice. They sent them over, like great customer support. Can't complain about anything about that. So which kind of monitors can I compare these with? I would say that these sound the closest to Neumann speakers, like to the KH series. When I used to teach in United Pop, I taught in United Pop Amsterdam for 3 years. We had a pair of KH310. So these are the 3-ways with the 10-inch woofer. So I know these very, very well, and also they're closed box. It's a closed box speaker. It has a bit of a different bass sound, and these are also kind of a closed box speaker. Like they have a very, very similar bass feel, but the 310s of course have more bass because it's a 10-inch woofer. I also used to have a pair of Kh120, the 5 inches. So I know the Neumann brand pretty well, and in my opinion, these are just as good as any Neumanns, with the difference that when I had the 120, I always felt like, okay, they're neutral, they sound good, I can hear very well what's happening, but at the same time, the 120s didn't have any bass. It's a 5-inch, and I don't know, I always felt like, I'm missing this impact. These are 7 inches. They sound just as good on the mid-range and on the treble as the KH120, but they have a lot more bass. And the KH120s are about 1,200 euros, even more for a pair. These were 900, so you're getting more bass. You're getting something closer to the new Neumanns that are the KH150, I think, the 7-inch version, but for much, much less money. What else would I compare them to? I also had Genelecs, like 8040s, 8030s. Again, Genelecs are a bit more forward sounding, but a pair of 8040s is much more expensive than these. So definitely, if I could choose them over Neumann's or Genelecs, I would say go for these. They're way cheaper, and they're pretty much priced as Denaudios, these. But they deliver a very, very strong punch for the money that you pay for them. Now, are these the best speakers I ever owned? No. The best speakers I ever owned, it's a tough competition between PSI A17 Swiss monitor is fantastic. Like they had a, I don't know, they were beautiful speakers. Or I also had PMC TWOTWO6, which again, very high-end, very expensive speakers. I also used to have a big pair of System 1000 from Tannoy, which is like something else. It's coaxial, and the woofer was very big, so like I don't think it's a good comparison. But ones that were better, that were easily better to hear than these, were, I would say, the PSI A17 and the PMC TWOTWO6. But again, the difference is not like much better. I would say they were like 7% better than these. And the PMCs are like, the 226 were like, I don't know, 4 times more expensive, even more than 4 times more expensive than these. And the PSI, the A17s were 3 times more expensive than these. Then, is it worth the price difference? In my opinion, no. I think that for an extra 7%, like, you know, I also work with headphones and the room's good. And in the end, when I'm tracking bass, when I'm working with synthesizers, like I really hear the bass, I really hear everything. The mid-range is very clear. There's great depth. When I listen to all my references, they sound fantastic. And I think that if you can't mix, if you can't make fantastic mixes and masters on these speakers behind me on the APS, then this extra 7% is not going to do anything for you. So for the money, I would probably never go back to buying something that's 4 times, 5 times more expensive than this, because what's the point? I can make really good work on these ones. They're great. And honestly, if anything ever happens to them, and you know, when you work professionally on monitors, every now and then monitors break, because that's how it is. Like every couple of years, not couple of years, but you know, let's say every 5 years, stuff needs to be replaced. That's okay when you're working with something full days. And if I need to spend another 900 euros to get another pair, that's okay. When I had these really expensive PMC or PSI, I was always really worried about them, because if that breaks, that costs a lot of money to replace. So overall, I love these speakers. They are fantastic. I'm looking forward to make more music on them. I've had them for about 3 weeks now, and I've been using them every day. Hope you find this useful, and thank you for listening.